Hey, okay, so let me take a moment here. I'm going to talk about that core principle about choices can have consequences that may not be seen until the future. So I'm going to, you guys get me on screen now. Isn't that great? Do I look good on camera? I heard that. Okay, so let me point this up there. Looks a little weird, but we're going to get off of that and get on to what we do need, which is, where'd he go? This guy. Okay. So you watch those videos, prohibition video. We're talking about unintended consequences here, okay? So costs and benefits of choices we make may appear in the future. Think about Ceausescu, right? Remember that guy? Machine gunned by his own people? That was his consequence for embracing a command economy and exploiting it and taking advantage of his people. That was the choices he made. Those are the choices he made, okay? But over here, I've got three other ones for you. So prohibition, the attempt to try to make the consumption of alcohol or producing of alcohol illegal. The 18th Amendment of the United States, the Falstead Act. So they made movies about this thing, tons of them, because of all of these unintended consequences. So first off, people lost jobs. So wineries, distilleries, like pubs and restaurants that might have served alcohol, people lost jobs in those places. Second, there was organized crime on the rise. Think of guys like Al Capone, okay? So these bad actors, if you'll call them that, were trying to meet the demand of the people. So all kinds of craziness was going on, and that's what most of the movies were made about. But that rise in organized crime. Then there were some other things too, some other unintended consequences. They talked about poisonings because people, businesses, I should say, were encouraged to put certain harmful chemicals in alcohol that might be used for other purposes rather than drinking, but people were drinking anyways because it was alcohol, and a lot of people died because of that. So you had a lot of these negative things that came about, these negative events that arise because of prohibition. So something that was supposed to be good, getting rid of some of the problems in society that came with alcohol, ends up with this. The Cobra effect, remember on this one, the British government will pay people in India a certain amount of money for every cobra that they kill, hoping they kill all cobras because so many people were dying because of cobra bites. And what ends up happening was people farmed cobras. Because if I can farm them, remember, we had that lesson with the tigers and the buffalo. If you can farm something, you now an animal or resource like in this case cobras, you'll have a whole bunch of them. And so people were thinking they make a lot of money off of that. And so the government at the time in India, run by the British, got rid of that and said, okay, we're not going to pay you. And next thing you know, those people who were farming them was like, well, I don't need these cobras. And they just let them all loose in the wild. So they ended up having more cobras than before that policy. Now this one I think is more legend. I'm not sure if it actually happened. All right, and then, but it's a good example. And then this one did happen. China wanted to get rid of these 4 pests, and one of these was sparrows, and so they did everything they could. People hitting drums, making them fly around until they fell down dead. You can imagine, along with other ways of killing these sparrows. And what happened was insect population explosion. There were no sparrows there to eat and kill all these insects. So the insects ate all of the wheat and other food that was being grown. And so what ended up happening was millions starved. Talk about a bad idea. Millions, I said millions farmed, millions starved. Okay, millions starved. All right, so moving down here, you were to take a moment and write down some of the consequences people would face if they left high school early. So I don't know what your list is like, but I'm going to move that. If you got what the cartoonist was saying there, it's just basically saying that at one point in time, we were having almost like a dropout rate that was close to 50%. Now, this is not the case today, but back in the day, okay? So it was a big problem. Now, people have looked at this, and so you were to just to write anywhere around here what these charts and graphs show. And I'm not going to write it down, but I'll just tell you here. In this case, if you drop out of high school early, the consequence in life is you don't earn as much money. It's that simple. If you drop out of high school early, you're more likely to be unemployed in life. And, life expectancy. This is a really good one. If you drop out of high school and you don't go on to further education, most likely you won't live as long as other people. So there's three really important consequences. You won't make as much money, you're more likely to be unemployed, and you won't live as long. All right, so those are pretty important outcomes. And so what's the moral of the story? Get through high school. Now, that won't be a problem so much for you guys, but out in our society, it has been a problem in the past. Okay, and then there were some stats here for you, and that was taking a look at this core principle that for choices in life that we make, some choices are really, really big. Think about like high school, dropping out, that'd be a big choice. That there are consequences later on. Okay. Good luck on your test. See ya.